Well, we have some Rays news and updates that you may have missed over the weekend. No, we're not going to get to any of the Wander Franco developments. We'll save that for another day, but more on the field related happenings that we'd like to get to.
A lot has been happening the last 3-4 days, so let's get started right now.
You are Locked On Rays, your daily Tampa Bay Rays podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, my name is Kevin Weiss.
I'm Ulises Sambrano.
And we are the host of the Locked On Rays podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Thank you for making us your very first listen every day. Be sure to check out and subscribe to our YouTube channel at Locked On Rays. You can also find us on the traditional podcast platforms. Be sure to email us, lockedonrays@gmail.com. Love the mailbag questions. All right, Ulises, it seems, well, it doesn't seem, it is happening. The baseball season as we know it is inching closer and closer. You know that it's getting closer to game time when FanFest is announced, and that's what happened a couple days ago, as it will be on Saturday, February 17th at Tropicana Field from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m. Now, if you have a season ticket, if you're a season member, you'll get early entry as per usual beginning at noon. But it's kind of the first wave of, okay, start to get in gear here for the season. I got to be honest, I love FanFest. I think it really does get me motivated and in the mood for the season, with the yard sale, interacting with the players, mascots, games, running around, and just having the opportunity to waft in that Tropicana Field air.
Yeah, that's the last bit is what we want, right? That Tropicana air. Yeah, it's exciting, man, to go to FanFest. We've gone a few times now together with the podcast and without, and it's always a good time. Especially, you're right, the yard sale is really cool, but just seeing how the players interact with the kids, that's also really cool. I wish I had gone to FanFest when I was a young kid. That would have been really cool. So kind of healthy jealous on that part, but it's a really good time and it's family friendly. But the one thing I did see that was different, I don't know if you caught this, was the 1 p.m. start time.
Later, yes, because it's usually 11 a.m. to 3 p.m.
It's usually you just had breakfast and it's in your throat and you have to go walk in. Like, that's early.
I have a theory on why it is pushed back later.
Hit me with the theory.
I believe that the Tampa Bay Rowdies have a 7:30 p.m. game. So my thought and viewpoint is that you stay to FanFest until 5 p.m., maybe grab dinner, and then go to a soccer game. Little cross-talk, cross-promotion action. And maybe it was something that the Chamber of Commerce recommended. Hey, set it a little bit later so it entices people to stick around in St. Pete and grab a bite to eat or explore downtown, whatever it may be. Because previously, my experiences with FanFest, going with you and others, is go there for a couple hours and then jet out of St. Petersburg, beat traffic, and get back to the Hillsborough side of things. But maybe this is another methodology. And also maybe they got some input from their employees of like, hey, we have to get up. This thing starts at 11 or 10 if you're a season ticket holder. And that means we got to get up however many hours earlier to get geared in. If you all could push it back a couple hours, that would be great because we like our weekend sleep.
Yeah, I think that's exactly what the employees thought, but I don't necessarily think that's what drove them. I think it's the former. That's probably a really good idea to like pair it up, stay in St. Pete, stay possibly for the Rowdies game. But no, it should be exciting. I think the most entertaining part of it, besides if you take out like the yard sale,
right? Which that yard sale just gets ravaged if you arrive, 5 minutes late.
No,
So
yeah, you
really,
have to be
that's
there
where
the
being a
first.
that's where being a season ticket member really pays. Is you get early entry into that thing and you get the pick of the litter. Because for us regular folk, you're lucky. Okay, all that's left is a 5XL Aki Iwamura T-shirt or something like that.
Oh,
There's
look
not
at
much.
this. It's a Jaff Dacker bobblehead.
Yeah.
That's nice. Yeah, no. So definitely go there first if you really want to go to the yard sale. But it's I like the when the players play video games with the kids,
Mm-hmm.
or the basketball hoop game, like the arcade stuff. That's really nice. And it's bringing the fan closer to the player and
Right.
kind of like making them human, and that's a great thing, because when they go 0 for 10 and you start screaming at the TV, maybe
Mm-hmm.
do a little bit of introspective look and be like, hey, he's a human being
Yeah.
too. He's not a machine, because I saw him playing video games and my kid beat him.
Right.
So maybe cut some slack here. But no, it's exciting. I think, would you stay the 4 hours?
It depends how much is going on. Usually, in past experiences, it would be stay for half the time, then get out of there. But some of it is also contingent on how interesting those player interviews are with Dwayne Stats and Andy Freed, where they do kind of the round table.
Yeah.
And I know previous years where there was the whole stadium debacle. I guess it'll be a little less hostile, but we were always, inching at what Ray's front office and executives had to say about the status of all that. But
Oh
yeah,
God. Oh no,
yeah,
don't.
no,
That reminded me of everybody. If you didn't go to that FanFest, people, here's a little synopsis. They get on there, everybody's hating on it. Brian Ald and Stu Sternberg. It's just like pitchforks are out, okay, right?
oh yeah,
And then the last question is this plant. It's this like either entry level employee, or like an executive that nobody knows their name, and they go like, hey, I think this is a really good idea, and thank you for bringing this up to Montreal, because we could have Tampa
yeah,
baseball in Tampa Bay for the next generation. So I just really want to thank you guys.
yeah.
Like, he
We
was
had a
so
we had a lot
mad.
of crisis actors and non-player characters in there asking questions. That's what happened. Yeah, so no, I'm excited about FanFest. I mean, many times it's kind of the same thing over, which I think that if they can develop or steal something from another organization that really spices it up, I would just like to see some new ideas and try something different,
Yeah.
or
Like what?
I don't know what that is, but
Okay.
something to really like the video game thing. I think was great, and the opportunity for kids to play games with the players, I think is really cool, fun, and exciting. But more of that, I would say, to where you can endear the players to the fan base in some shape or form, if you will.
My type A brain wants it to be a little bit more structured too, like and ahead of time. Like, give me where everything is going to be a roadmap of FanFest ahead of time, so
Oh,
I
like
can
a
make more
printable
plans.
map or a PDF version where I know in this corridor, this is where I can try the new food options and
Because
whatnot.
you get there, it's a baseball field, by the way, and then
Yeah.
you're like, okay, where do I go? What do I do? Do I go here? And it's kind of like you don't know what's your priority. So like, if you come with a plan
Yeah.
ahead of time, I think that would be most at least for me, would be very helpful.
I also find it interesting, some of the former players blast from the past that they bring out and roll out to appear to sign autographs and meet with fans and so forth. Anybody on your bucket list that you hope is in attendance, besides, of course, like the Evan Longorias and Carlos Pena's, big names like that? Well, I guess you could say Carlos Pena, but usually the ones they bring out are Seth McClung level, Toby Hall level dudes.
That's a good one. If we are talking like Rays players, I think I would really like to have a conversation with Casey Kochman.
Okay, that's fair.
Casey Kochman would be really good, and Jeff Keppinger. Those are my two first options for like Rays I would love to talk to that are not, I think, the first Rays players people think about.
Yeah. Hey, put it up in the comments. What is one former player, one kind of somewhat obscure name?
Yeah, don't put Evan Longoria in the comments, people. Don't put Longo, please,
right.
or Upton or Shields. Come on.
Yeah, or Crawford. Yeah, we're looking for kind of an Mike DeFelice, something like that.
Nice. Any Romero.
Exactly. That's kind of what we're looking for. So stay tuned for all that. I'm sure they'll have more updates and information as it comes, but just wanted to throw it out there. All right, we have more to discuss, but first we have to tell you this. Passion, drive, and patience. What brings home the winning trophy is also what keeps your ride or die alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance, from superchargers, roof racks, exhaust kits, LED headlights, and more. Whether you're into speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has got you covered. With over 122 million parts for your number one ride or die, you'll always find exactly what you're looking for. And with eBay Guaranteed Fit, your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time, or your money will be returned to you. Because with eBay Motors, you're burning rubber, not cash. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to turn your car into the MVP and bring home that win. Keep your ride or die alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay Guaranteed Fit is only available to U.S. customers. All right, Ulises, some other Rays news that popped along over the weekend. The Rays have added big time over the course of the international signing period, inking 23 young players, topped by Dominican outfielder Leonardo Pineda. He was or is ranked as the number 18 overall international prospect per MLB.com and got a reported $1.75 million. The Rays also threw out lots of cash to some Venezuelan shortstops, a catcher, just a lot of names out there, mostly players from the Dominican and Venezuela, and then one player from Panama. All told, the Rays invested approximately $6.55 million. So hopefully, maybe, possibly, we'll see one or more of these guys make it to the show in the next 6, 7, 8, 9 years. We have to remember a lot of them are, 16 years old, 17 years old, 18 years old.
Yeah, these guys need to cook. So, you don't even have to remember the names. If you want to, sure, remember the names, but just know that 23 of these guys, if 3 get to the major leagues, that's a success. Like, many things can happen to a 16-year-old in order to get to the major leagues. Like, and don't even go into like the dark stuff.
Yeah, let's keep that away.
Let's keep that away. Like just go into like injuries. Just that alone. Like, it's so difficult to just like project these kids, but very nice that they got some of these amounts are life-changing for these families. Like, 1.75, 300,000, 425, 450, 800,000 for Angel Braki, who's a shortstop in Venezuela. So, from the people that I follow on Twitter that do the whole international signing
of international players that us gringos don't know about.
Well, they have spoken very highly of Denis Gonzalez, the catcher from Venezuela. I mean, again, I am biased towards following the Venezuelan players, of course, Venezuelan bump. So I don't know too much about the DR guys, but there's the academy in the DR for the Rays is going to get a lot of really good, talented players. And from what they've written about them, they're just looking for high floor guys. It's not like, think of Johnny Chirinos. When you think about what these guys could be like, could they become a superstar? Yeah, hopefully. But like, if they can just be a serviceable major league player, aka Johnny Chirinos, for a while, that's a success.
Oh, for sure. And as you can see, I mean, the Rays seems like they like their catchers from Venezuela because they signed 3 of them and then another catcher from Panama. I mean, the Rays certainly need catching depth in the years and years to come. And yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that. Life-changing money for sure. You just hope that it's taken care of prudently and they have good people around them that can show them how to properly invest and spend it, and they don't have a bunch of sharks that just try to steal it from them, more or less. But yeah, it's funny with the international signings, a lot of times, or in certain instances with the Rays, it's not the guys that, got the 1.5, the 2.5 million dollar signing bonus. Of course, aside from Wander Franco and his $3.8 million signing bonus, but it's guys who got 10,000, 64,000, 100,000, 400,000. I mean, if we just go up and down the list of names, Alex Colomé, what he turned into, Yanni Chirinos, which I'm not sure if I remember what he signed for. I don't think it was some major amount. Rene Pinto, 100,000. Diego Castillo, 64,000. Vidal Brujan, Jonathan Aranda, Diego Castillo. So the Rays have had, good track record with these international signings. And if at the very least they can get them in the system, develop them, and get them to the point where they can trade them for what they're really looking for. I mean, how many times has that happened? I.e. with Jesus Sanchez. I mean, you look at just Rays rosters, postseason rosters, how many of those players are acquired via trade versus draft versus free agency versus other methods?
Right. They don't have to get to the major leagues. Can they have high value enough that you can trade them for pieces that you need in your major league roster? Like that's the whole game too. It's not like, it's not only a silo vertical way of thinking. Like, you can use these guys to
Christopher Sanchez was used to acquire Curtis Mead, for example.
Exactly. And Jesus Sanchez was Nick Anderson for a year and a half. So that was a pretty good trade. So it's exciting for these families. It's exciting for prospect fans that like this stuff. If you guys really want to dive deep, you can check out Locked On MLB Prospects with Lindsey Crosby. He does awesome. That's all he focuses in on. He barely cares about MLB. He really cares about the minors and the prospects. So if you want to hear more about him, he's the guy.
He certainly does, for sure. This could just add to the diversity of the Rays roster. It wasn't too long ago where the entire lineup essentially was made up of a player from a different country, be it the U.S., be it the Dominican, Cuba, Colombia, Venezuela, Mexico, Taiwan, Panama, South Korea. The Rays certainly run the gamut, and I think that having so much success and experience with Latin players should really only help them in this matter.
God, you're talking about the signing bonuses that like the guys that get there are the 15, 20, 30,000. You know how much? I just looked it up. I had to because I knew the story, but I wanted to get the amount. You know how much Jose Altuve signed for?
What was it, 20,000, 25,000, something like that?
15,000.
Yeah. It's a lot of times those diamond in the roughs, those lottery tickets that you're just throwing $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 on a bunch of different guys, hoping that one of them can pan out.
And not to be, if you're looking at a 18-year-old who is 5'5", and he can hit, but he's 5'5", you're like, I can't give you more than 15,000. Right. Like that, it would be irresponsible for me. And then he just becomes a Hall of Fame type player.
Mm-hmm.
That's insane. So like a lot of these kids have a lot to prove, and just because they might be getting the short end of the signing bonus, that doesn't mean that they're not gonna make it. I think there's plenty of stories that show that doesn't really matter.
For sure. One last note that we want to get to here. The Rays, I guess, are circumventing or not truly hiring a replacement for Peter Bendix. Instead, they have promoted Kevin Ibach to share in previous general manager's duties with 3 other assistant general managers, Will Cousins, Chanda Lawdermilk, and Carlos Rodriguez. So those 4 of Ibach, Cousins, Lawdermilk, and Rodriguez will share in the duties of previous general manager Peter Bendix. So Eric Neander will have to more or less hear from 4 voices on a daily basis instead of 1. So in essence, the Rays are at least temporarily eluding having a captain for their chief and just going with 4 lieutenants or sergeants, however you want to qualify that. But congrats to Kevin Ibach. He's been with the Rays since 2012, focusing on player development, pro personnel, and pro scouting. But I found it interesting. I really thought that I guess maybe this is a way to see which cream rises to the top. Maybe it's a tryout for all these 4 to eventually get the role of Peter Bendix. But I really thought they would have, more or less filled Bendix's position with, I don't know, John Daniels. Maybe they made a play at Chaim Bloom. Maybe after Chaim Bloom went to the Cardinals, they're like, all right, let's just forget it and kind of rework some things here. So that's how the organizational structure is going to be for this coming year, at least.
Just let me get my cheeky joke out of the side. Like the Rays are also platooning in the front office.
I guess so. Yeah, everybody's going to have a lot of different focal points.
Yeah, Rodriguez gets some at bats. Chanda, Will, Ibach. You guys are sharing duties there. I don't think they made a play at John Daniels. I don't think they made a play at Chaim Bloom. I think they said, hey, what's the deal with taking a rush decision and like just naming a guy? Like, are we losing anything from not naming a guy? And the answer from what they talked about was probably, no, we probably don't lose anything. In fact, if we maybe try something new and have this triumvirate plus 1, because I don't know the word for that, for
quartet.
Okay, tet. Yeah, no, isn't
quartet.
Quartet. There you go.
Yeah,
foursome. Yeah, quartet. They have the quartet of assistant GMs. Maybe something good can happen and something a little bit different. And if it isn't the Rays, and it's they would do something like that. So I'm not surprised at all that they've gone this way, and I don't really think it's going to change anything really.
Yeah, the average fan's not going to know the difference, or it's not going to show up unless some sleuth 6 months from now is like, it's because they didn't replace Peter Bendix that they are only 89 and whatever the record is. They didn't.
I like
win
that
a title. No, yeah, I would be really curious to be in the room and hear the reasoning and thought process behind it all. And maybe some of it was, hey, we really like all 4 of these individuals, and we don't really feel comfortable at this moment, elevating one person over another to Bendix's role. So we'll have to see how that goes going forward. I know Peter Bendix down in South Florida, he's been busy hiring Gabe Kapler, hiring Bill Miller, adding Rachel Balkovec to Director of Player Development, stocking up on X-rays, be it Calvin Fauché or Christian Bethencourt or Vidal Brujan. So he's got his hands full.
He's doing work, man. But there are a couple of more names that apparently are leaving the dugout, Kevin, for the Rays. Jonathan Erlichman and Justin Su'a. They're going up the staircase and now becoming part of the front office. Erlichman, he's going to handle projects during the front office as vice president of process and analytics, while Justin Su'a who was the head of the mental performance, and you would always see him next to Tyler Glasnow in shots of the dugout. He will serve as a performance development specialist, focusing on staff initiatives and projects outside of the clubhouse. So I think that kind of means more like seeing the corporate culture, the kind of taking the barometer of what the other employees are going through, and seeing if he can like help with that. That's what it sounds like. Maybe it's completely wrong, but that's what it sounds like.
Hey, there's a lot of employees in a lot of departments and divisions that have to be attended to, whether it's baseball ops, admin, broadcasting, public affairs, corporate partnerships, finance, accounting, community engagement. There's a lot of pieces that you have to tie in together. Yeah,
customer service. This episode feels like locked on bureaucratics.
Yeah, pretty much. Now I will say the one thing that we just wanted to do sort of a potpourri episode hitting on some things that happened over the weekend. But one guy who really, really will have his hands full is head groundskeeper or former head groundskeeper Dan Moeller, shifting to director of special projects and field operations. His duties will include the design and building out of the planned new stadium, plus renovations at the team academy in the DR and operations at Charlotte Sports Park. So I really hope that he's getting a big fat raise or bonus or some sort of benefit, because that is a big to-do to juggle all those things going on, particularly the would-be new stadium in St. Petersburg.
Is he bald? Does he have hair? Do you know?
I do not know. I would have to look that up. But if he's not bald, he's certainly going to have some gray hairs.
That was my thing. Yeah, he's about to lose it or turn those hairs to gray, because that seems like a lot to do. But good luck in those endeavors. But the sleep is going to definitely.
You're going from making sure there's enough dirt on the field to building out the $1 billion stadium plus
good luck
2 other stadiums, essentially.
If that's
my theory.
That's not
on
a promotion.
Why left, because I guess a pay raise, bigger and better title with Miami, but when the Wander Franco stuff went down, and then having to deal with the new stadium, it's like, okay, let me shift gears here and try something else. I don't know. All right. Hope you all enjoyed. We do want to hear your comments on which obscure former Rays player you want to see at FanFest that you like to chew their ear on and get a picture with, and so forth.
Yeah, and for this week, we will talk about the Amazon Bally Sports situation. We will talk about that, people. Wander Franco situation, perhaps it's just like a lot.
Yeah. I mean, it's a lot, I guess, more details, but it's kind of stuff we've
already talked about. So maybe unless something breaks, I mean, really, I don't think you guys are dying for Wander
really,
Franco.
here's the summary. It continues to look worse and worse for Wander Franco. Anytime you see a press clipping from or that mentions Wander, it's probably not going to be a good thing from now and
looking worse. Yeah,
more or less. Yeah. So, all right. Hope you all have a wonderful day. Stay safe, and we will talk to you later on this week.